Good morning, good afternoon, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, Dani. I'm good, thanks, and you?
Yeah, very good. Very good to have you on the show. We have known each other for a bit, worked
Yeah,
together in the past. So it's good to have you and discuss your latest involvement, I guess, with the community and your post and everything. But before we really start, do you mind giving us a quick intro? You know who you are, how did you end up into this Microsoft BizApps world, and maybe what you like doing in your free time?
yeah, sure. So I kind of, yeah, I'm kind of ended up in here by accident. After I graduated from uni, I joined a company that made bumpers and side mirrors. And the CEO asked, "Do you want to implement Exapta?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, no idea what that is, but yes. And 21 years later, and a couple of different roles later, I am now the ERP lead at Avanade for growth markets. And then,
Wow.
yeah, that's that's how I ended up here. Yeah.
And what do you like doing in your spare time?
So I enjoy being outside.
Yeah.
I get a lot of motivation and a lot of energy from being in nature. So
Yeah.
I enjoy going for walks. I love the ocean. I am an avid gym goer.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yes, so always trying to get stronger. And then the flip side of that, and that's why I go to the gym, is so that I can go out for good food and wine,
Yeah.
um, and just have some fun.
Yeah. Oh, pretty cool. That's quite. It's pretty similar hobbies. I love my sport as well, and I
Mhm.
love going out too. So that's pretty interesting. I've read some of your posts about how you advise as well, consultant going in the nature or going for walks. So we're going to explore all that because I'm doing the same, and I found tremendous value out of this. So, look, I wanted to have you on the show because I found like you starting posting I think a few months ago,
Mhm.
and some of your posts kind of really resonated with me and a bit, the career and the struggle I had in the past, and I kind of wanted to share a bit and with you and with the community and have a discussion because I think a lot of other consultants might benefit as well from some of your advices, and maybe I can chip in a bit with my experience as well. So let's get started, right? So I remember reading, and I think that was the one that really triggered me to kind of reach out to you, and
Mm.
it was the one about I think you were mentioning that you're not, it's not because you're lazy, or it's not because sometimes in our careers we feel like we are not in the right space or in the right place, right?
Yeah.
If I recall correctly. And I kind of read your post, and you were mentioning that sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It's actually nothing to do with your employer. And a lot of people, I think, the natural reaction is they blame themselves or they look for another employer, but sometimes it's really related to the role you're doing.
Yeah.
So everything is fine, but it's the role. Do you want to give a bit more flavor into that post and explain and give us some advice, basically?
Sure. And you can almost do a whole session just on that topic.
Yeah.
And so personally for me, and I think this issue is also what caused me to start doing the career coaching, is that I was in this role where I feel like I just felt in my gut it's not where I needed to
Mm.
be, or not where yeah where I should be.
Yeah.
And I was good enough, but I always felt like I wasn't as good as the other people in my team, and it just felt like it was much more easier for them.
Yeah.
And I looked at, I changed companies. I thought maybe it's the company, I'll do something else. And it was the same. Like in the beginning, it's good, but it's not me. And
Yeah.
so I spoke to a mentor, and I was looking at going into two different roles. And he said to me, "You need to make this decision,
Mm.
but you need to step into your power." And he said, I hired you for a specific reason, and you haven't stepped into your power. And that
Yeah.
hit me like, okay. But it also made me think and do some analysis about what am I good at, and
Mm.
what do I want to do. And I I did a lot of self reflection, and I came up with a list of what I'm good at, and then
Yeah.
I applied for a role where I can apply those skills. And that year, I won a global award for the best manager in that role globally.
Wow. Okay.
And, and it's only because I focus on what I'm good at instead of trying to fix what doesn't come naturally to me.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah. Yeah.
speak to
Yeah.
a lot of people where I feel that they are in this role that doesn't fit them, and so they feel like they are lazy or they feel like they are dumb and not good enough. And that's not the case. Everyone's good at something. You just need to find what your thing is.
Yeah. 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 Well, I definitely strongly resonate where I think I had the same and the same experience where I was also in a role. I got two promotions almost very quickly, one after another.
Mm,
And I think I was ready for the first one, but the second one hit me too fast. Like I
mm,
was super excited to get it. And then I think the first promotion was going from kind of a senior role to a more leadership role, but still involved technical skills. So I was still very confident and I did a great job for a few months. And then I got promoted again to more managerial role. And I
mm.
think I was just too excited to get promoted and I jumped into that role. And a few months down the track, I kind of realized that, yeah, it just doesn't, like you said, right? You just don't feel right. You don't feel it right in your belly.
Mm.
I think it took me a few months to really understand that there is nothing wrong with the company, and it's really the role that was not suited for
Yeah, there's
me.
nothing wrong
But
with you either. It's just
well,
a match.
yeah, and the thing is, I think what really saved me in this case is, so I started with that company, got very quickly promoted to that senior technical role, and I
Mm,
did great at that role. And then when I got promoted to a managerial role, I think what saved me is I had those few months in that same company where I was very successful. And I look back at this and I told myself, well, I was very successful in that company in those kind of roles. And then I switched. So I think I was lucky in that case because I think a lot of people, when they join a company and they might think that it's the wrong company,
mm,
while it's sometimes the wrong role. The company is right, and your manager is the right is the right manager and everything. The culture is good, but you didn't have, I guess, you don't have that perspective that you can do well in that company. So I think I was lucky, but I think a lot of people have those situations where they just join a company, but it's sometimes the wrong role.
yeah.
So you saying, so what advice would you give? I noted down what self-reflection before leaving. I noted down self-reflection, noting down what you're good at,
Yes.
and then the first thing is trying to see whether there is a similar role that can fit what you're good at. Would that be
Yeah, that's
the
that.
right approach?
Yes, and you need to be excited about the role that
Mm.
you want to do. And there's and you just brought up another thought or
Yeah,
idea. But you need to be excited about the role that you want to do or the career path that you're going to take.
yeah,
And I speak to so many people who wants to be a manager and they think they need to get promoted, and they have to be a manager to get to the next step and that's where they want to be. And then when they become managers, they really do not enjoy it or they're not good at it.
yeah,
Um, and you need to realize that that's not the only career progression that you can do. And I find that especially with people in tech, because you have people that are brilliant with the technology and they're really strong being a technical person, and then they go and they take on a manager role, and it's a very selfless role to take, and it's not about you at all. It's just about the people, and it's a completely different skill set and a completely different
yeah,
focus. And so if that's what you want to do, that's great. But you need to spend some time alone and really think and look at the past and even go back. So I do this exercise, people, where you go back from birth, from as far as
right,
you can remember, and write until now, all the ups and downs that you had in your life, all the highs and lows.
yeah,
And that gives you a really good picture of what you enjoy doing and what you're good at. And so, I speak to people and they bring up stories like they sold jewelry in primary school, or, they was in the debating team and they really enjoyed. That was a high in primary school.
yeah,
And so it's those are good cues or good tips, hints to look at what you were good at throughout your life. And okay, you had the successful jewelry store in primary school. Maybe you should have your own business. Maybe the corporate world is not for you. So there's a lot of tips that you can get when from your past. So that's another exercise that I thought is really interesting in helping you to get to know yourself and what you enjoy, what you're good at.
Yeah, cool, amazing. And then, so once you, and I guess also reflecting on another pose that you had, right? So once you kind of identify what you're good at, how do you get to the role? Because you might be good at it because you know you're good at it, or because you had that self-reflection,
Mm,
but your experience doesn't tell that. You're not, you maybe lack a bit of qualification or experience basically in those kind of roles. How would you advise someone then to put all to put everything in their power to kind of transition to a role they would like to actually have in the
yeah,
future?
yeah. And you need to get clear on what you want first.
Mm,
And so I really believe where focus goes, energy flows. And so once you know what you want to do, then you can put the plan in place.
yeah,
And I put a career plan in place, and I based it on the steps that's in the book Think and Grow Rich.
yeah,
Because you need to have these bold goals that you go after. So
right,
you need to be clear what you want to do, how much you want to earn, put a date in there by when you want to achieve it, and then think of what are you going to do to get that in. So what are you going to give to get that in return?
yeah,
And that could be just putting the effort in, taking a course, or doing a side hustle, as stretch project at work, and offering to help a little bit to get more experience in that area,
yeah,
or speaking to someone that's in that role and say, you could they be your mentor? You would like to know more about that. So depending on what your goal is, there's a whole lot of steps
yeah,
that you have to do. And so then you put this very clear plan in place. And the next step is you put a sentence together, or a paragraph of, I want to do this, I want to achieve it by that date. This is what I'm going to give in return. Um, and then you read that every day. It needs to
right.
be it needs to be your focus. And I heard someone said that if I ask you how many red cars did you see this morning, could you think of one? There's red cars, but
Probably
you don't
not.
know exactly where they are.
Yeah,
But if I told you before this podcast, you get $100 for each red car you saw, you would know exactly how many red cars are there. And so
yeah,
this is the same with your focus. If you know what you're looking for, then you have this clear plan, and opportunities will just pop up.
yeah, yeah. And I was reading into one of your posts as well, where I think you almost advise people to really believe that they already have the role. I think that resonated a bit with me too. I was reading where, and it's true. I can kind of relate, right? The few times when I really wanted to be in a specific role or be recognized in that role, even before I almost kind of put myself in the shoes of already of that person in that role, and almost kind of calling myself that expert already before I was the expert, and
Yes.
doing everything possible, like you were mentioning, to achieve that. So that kind of resonate too. So yeah, but any tips on how to mentally kind of help people to put yourself in?
So I think we are our biggest obstacle in our own path,
Mm,
because if you don't believe in yourself and you can't sell yourself, then you know no one's going to do it for you.
yeah,
And Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest before he was ever even the greatest.
yeah,
And Conor McGregor walks around everywhere like I'm the best and the greatest, before anyone knew of him. And so it's you have to be your own biggest cheerleader. And then when you decide, say you want to be a manager, and you really put yourself in the shoes of a manager. You're like, what would a manager do? How would a manager dress? How would they walk into
Mm.
the room? What would they say? What would their focus be? And then you take on that identity. And so when you go to work, you dress a little bit smarter and you walk in there with more
Mm.
confidence and you help people, because to be a manager is to serve and to remove
Yeah.
roadblocks and to help people. And you do that even though it's not your role already. You just start helping people and you're removing roadblocks and you get back to people and you say what you're going to do, and you become that identity. And then when you believe it, other people will start to believe it as well. They'll see it and
Yeah.
they see that's how you act, and then it makes it easier to step into that next role.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Thank you for the tips. So you were mentioning a bit about, I think, career plans, right? Here, but I also read a post where I think it kind of struck me as well. I think you recommend having two career
Yes.
goals.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Because, so explain me a bit the logic, right? Because I always kind of had. So first off, we'll talk a bit later about kind of who is responsible for managing your career and your career goals. We
Mm.
can discuss that too. But if I put a career plan in place and career goals, I have one. Like, what would you recommend too?
Yeah. Because traditionally what we would do is we have these career plans that you have to do at work,
Yeah.
and so you fill it in, and a lot of people are not clear on what to put in there, or they just complete it for the sake of completing it because it's just something they have to tick off. um, but I think you have to take it seriously, and for you, not for your manager, not for the company. You have to take this seriously for you. And I'm a very big believer and a very big advocate of having massive goals. Like,
Right.
your self talk needs to be insane. You need to be embarrassed to go tell other people what you say to yourself. And so, if my goal is to be the CEO of Microsoft, or the MD of Australia, whatever I decide to, I can't go to my manager and say I want to be the CEO of Microsoft. They'll they'll laugh at you.
Yeah.
So that's your plan. You need to have this plan, and you have to have the steps in there. Like, this is my end goal. This is what I want to be, and I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
But the first step in this plan is my next role or my next step at work, and that is the career plan that you put together and that you share with your manager and your mentor and the people, your support network at work, to help you get to that first step of bigger your bigger goal.
Right. Okay. And those very big goals that you're saying.
Mm.
So those are those are very big goals, but they need to be achievable, right? Or are they goals that they are a bit they are so big that you still have to believe that you can achieve them, right?
Yes, you have to believe that you can achieve them. But I think if you come up with a goal and what you believe you can achieve, I think you can do more than that.
Right. So you would push yourself
Yeah, I say
really
push.
hard. Okay.
Yes, because
Mm.
and there's a lot of and what I did years ago is, and this wasn't just for my career. This was for my personal life as well. Um, I was, happy enough at work. I had the three kids by myself, and it's just like I don't know where am I going with my life.
Mm.
And I took time to do all the work on myself, and I studied professional or successful people, like crazy successful people. I'm like, what did they do? How can I do what they've done to get there?
Yeah.
And a lot of them say, they had these big dreams and big goals, and then they achieved it so quickly that they wish they made it bigger. In
Right. Yeah.
and and so I think that we can all do incredible things, but you have to believe in yourself, and you have to, and the way that you achieve that is, and this all, I saw an interesting thing that about law of attraction, where they said, Christians call it prayer, Um, uh, Witches called it spells. You know, scientists call it placebo effect.
Yeah.
Spiritualists call it law of attraction, of manifestation. So it's everyone's got a different name for it, but the principle is the same. You believe in this thing and it's going to happen. And so how you make that happen is you really need to feel it. You need to get excited about it, and you need to feel it, and spend time in this future self of yours,
Yeah.
and almost see it as, there's two analogies that I heard that I thought it makes it easy to understand, and that is that there's a song on Spotify. You're not listening to that song now, but you know it exists. But
Yeah.
as soon as you tune into it, it's there. So there's all these possibilities available to you. You just need to tune into it. And the other one was, it's like when you order food at a restaurant. So you order your food, you know your food's going to come. So you just carry on with the conversation and you have fun and you have a drink, and eventually your food comes. You don't sit there and obsess over, is it going to come? How's it going to come? What's going to happen? And so we need to be the same about our goals. You decide what you want to do, you put your plan in place, and then you have to be a little bit patient and you just live your life. Um, and it will happen. And it's happened to me personally so many times
Mm.
that I know it sounds a bit out there, but it works.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. Thank you for all this tips. So career plans as well, right? And kind of the ownership of your career plan. And again, I think going through your post, it was something that kind of resonated with some past experience what I had, where you almost, like in your post, you mentioning that you need to realize as a consultant, as a professional, that you are the only one, I think, owning your career plan.
Yeah.
Like no one else will do it for you. Not your manager, not your company, not you. And I think this is where it kind of resonated with me, because for a few years I was kind of expecting, I think, my management or the company for whom I was working, that someone will kind of steer me and almost own that for me.
Mm.
But with the years I realized that that's not the case, and but it took me so long to realize that by myself, while your post really articulates that. And I think that would be very valuable, I think, with the younger generation as well,
Yeah.
that the earliest they understand that. So you do want to give some tips, advice?
Yeah. So I had the same understanding or the same feeling as you.
Mm.
I work hard. My manager will see there's a career path for me. There's a natural step, and they will just decide, oh, Michelle's done really well for 2 years. We will now promote her to the next level.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that. You are responsible for your career path. You're responsible for your life. And so if your life is not in a position or a state that you like, then it's because of your doing. But then
Mm.
the good thing is also, if you are the problem, then you are the solution. And so when you realize that you can change it, and you can change it so quickly, then things start to fall in place. And so when you realize that your career and your promotions or your career progression is your responsibility, then you put the plan in place that you want. And when you present that to your manager, if it's a good manager, they will support you, because they also they get their success is your success. And a lot of the time,
Mm.
managers get one of their KPIs is career progression of their team.
Yeah.
And you make it easy. If you come with your plan and it's already laid out, then you make it easy for them to help you. And
Yeah.
so they will then they know what your plan is also. So instead of you waiting for them to notice you and to recognize that you're doing a good job, and to promote you, they now know, oh, Danny is interested in a promotion. He wants to do this role. He wants to be a solution architect, or he wants to do pre-sales, or
Yeah.
you know whatever you want to do. And so now they look out for opportunities for you. And they know that you are busy, you presented your plan and you've got your action steps in, and you're doing the training and getting the experience and all the things that's in your plan. And they are aware of that. And you need to have regular updates with them. Like, this is what I
Yeah.
said I'm going to do, and this is what I've done so far. And then when the opportunities come up and there's a new solution architect role, they're like, oh, I remember Dani wanted to be a solution architect. Let's see if he's ready for this.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, perfect. So really owning the career plan, and not waiting for someone else to do it for you.
because it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
You
I
want
realized that a bit late, but yeah.
same. And
You were talking about, and kind of, yeah, wrote it down because it's kind of triggered an additional question I want to discuss with you, right? So you were saying you need to spend time with yourself.
yes,
And I think that is very tricky now, especially in our busy workloads and busy time. We all constantly busy doing something, right? So what are some good tips you can advise the younger generation, or even any consultant, to really kind of meditation? What are the tips to kind of trigger us to really focus and spend time with ourselves and kind of think about things?
yeah. I'm a very big advocate for meditation, not medication.
Yeah,
Meditation.
yeah.
And I do it myself a lot, and it's definitely beneficial. It's great tool.
Yeah,
But I find it's especially if you've never done it and you are super busy and you've got your mind's always going. It's hard for people to start meditating and get the
yeah,
benefit. Walking is a great way of meditating and spending time with yourself, and getting out in nature. Go somewhere where it's nice, in the bush, or on the beach, or where you have a view, or even just a nice street. If you have a nice street with trees,
yeah,
greenery, just get out in nature and do it alone.
yeah,
And and you need to make time for yourself. And I posted about that as well with the work-life balance.
yeah,
That is your responsibility as well,
mm,
because we are all, everyone in the tech industry is very ambitious, have a great work ethic, is selfless, perfectionist, and we just want to do the best. And you'll give and give and give. And a lot of the companies, they have all the tools in place, and all the, like, that you have mental health days, or you have flexible hours, or they even give access to meditation apps and things like that. So they provide you with everything that they can.
yeah,
Um, they can't make you not work, and they won't make you not work. And so
yeah,
they will take as much as you give.
mm,
And so you need to be responsible for your work-life balance, and you need to make time. And it doesn't have to be like, you see a lot of these posts where if you want to be successful, you need to get up at 5 a.m. and then meditate and then go for exercise. That's great. I'm a morning person and I love that. But if that doesn't fit in with your life, then you're not going to be able to do that, in the long run. So
yeah,
you need to find something that fits with your life, and maybe go for a lunchtime walk, or after dinner, or early in the morning. But it's important to get out on your own, and that's a good opportunity to then step into this new person that you want to be.
yeah,
So you just walk and you think about, you just say to yourself, I am the best solution architect that's there, and these are the customers I'm going to work on, and this is going to be my projects, and people are going to give me this feedback, and I'm going to design this amazing end-to-end solution that's just going to bring so much benefit to the customer. And whatever your story is in your head that you want to
yeah,
do, and you just walk with that and think about that, and you'll be surprised at the ideas that pop up in your head,
yeah.
like real life ideas that you can implement and start doing.
Yeah, amazing. I can very much resonate with what you said, right? And I would very much advise anyone that is stuck with some issues as well, right? Like, even for myself, like, I do what you just said. I didn't came naturally, I think, but it's after a few years from small walks, I think, going to work, where I was not listening to anything. I kind of found myself thinking about my work, solving problems, my career and stuff, and kind of it came throughout the years. But now I really spend time, as you said, I think, just going out for walks in the morning during lunchtime, not take anything with me, don't listen to anything, just go
Mm,
and just even sometimes I just go in and don't even have something to think about. I just go and enjoy, the trees and the nature and the dog. And then suddenly I realize after a few minutes, I'm starting thinking about some ideas are just popping up into my head. And then I follow those ideas and kind of help me resolve. So I can definitely resonate with that. It's helped me. I think it's one of the things that helped me the most in my career is I think most of my biggest idea in my own business, so starting my course, starting kind of my company, my ideation process and everything came out of walks, I think.
mm,
Going out on the walks and thinking that true and true and true. Because you don't have, I mean, when you go for an hour walk, it's quite a long time, right? So, yes, you can enjoy you can talk with a few neighbors, enjoy a bit the nature, but then you have a lot of time with yourself, I think, right? And walk after walk you kind of find and fine tune this, so I can definitely advise and definitely resonate as you said.
yeah. And
um
even if, because if you don't have time to walk, so on the days that you still need to go to the office, maybe you sit for an hour on the train each way or
yeah
on the bus. In the beginning, because before this flexible work um, situation that we have now, we all had to go to the office every day, and I
yeah
spent an hour on the train every day, and this is where I started with my self reflection and with the work. Is I
yeah
used that hour on the train, and I listened to podcasts, and I just listened to audiobooks, and I read, and I spend that time with myself,
yeah
not working, not scrolling on social media, doing some development work on me.
yeah
And that changed my life.
That's one of the, I think, the biggest advice I would give, at least.
Mm,
All the others that you give are tremendous as well, but from my perspective that's the one I found the most value in it. Now, you talk about something quite interesting about going to the office. Um, did you hear? There's a bit of a thunder here.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I think it will start raining soon. Anyway, let's hope it doesn't thunder too much.
yeah,
So, I've seen a post about networking, and I think it's relevant to what you said, going to the office. And it's a bit of a slight change of subject here, but
yeah.
going to the office, and we lost a bit with COVID those natural opportunities to make connections, like
Mm,
human to human connections, networking, because going for a coffee, I think that's the typical, the stereotype
mm,
place where you make, but it actually works. This is where I think a lot of us used to go and have a coffee, have a small break, and you bump into someone and start a conversation, have a chat, and then a lot of things came from there. I think those kind of not planned interactions with people in your
mm,
network. So we lost that a lot, I think, with the remote work. I've seen you posting on that. What advice? Because I still believe networking is critical and super
yeah.
important. What would be your advices now that we live in that hybrid world where some people work full time remotely? Like,
Mm,
how do we network? How do we build those
connection,
relationships?
yeah. And I wrote two posts on it, and the one was
Right.
about how important the networking is,
Yeah.
in, and that every opportunity that I have received so far was because of someone I knew.
Yeah.
And you need those sponsors that stand up for you, that speak up for you when you are not in the room.
Yeah.
And the only way that you make those connections and that you get to meet those people is when you speak to them. And I
Yeah.
believe face to face. Um, you can get to a level on Teams or on the video chat, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So it is harder now, and a lot of the times, when I go into the office, there's almost no one there, and so you turn up and you think, what's the point?
Yeah.
But then on other instances, I've gone into the office and there were just two people there, and we went for lunch, we went for coffee, and we had a chat, and then you start about you start to talk about things, and these topics just unfold and opportunities just come up,
Yeah.
and I spoke to someone and they told me that they have written and published several books. Like I never knew that.
Mm.
And so, and they told me some other things as well. And so when I saw their manager again the next time, I'm like, did you realize this person have done all these things? And they're like, no. And so I don't think you should go with the intention of I'm going to get something out of it, but just go with the intention to make someone else's day a little bit better and just get out of the
Yeah.
house. So if you can, if you don't have an office that you can go to, I know a lot of people, they might be the only person that say works in the Brisbane office in their team and there's not anyone there. Then I would still keep in contact with people on Teams. Go to meetups and go to events in the industry and
Yeah.
go meet
Yeah.
people.
Totally.
And there's a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
And just get out and stay in touch with people if you find out that they're traveling for work to your city or state, then meet up for coffee or go for lunch. Like, make an effort to,
Yeah.
because it's so comfortable at the moment just being at home. But every time I've made the effort and I've painted my face and put on some heels and went to the office, it's nice. It's nice to go see people and to have that connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's an excellent advice. And if, as you said, right, is searching for other opportunity to network if you are the only one in your company or if you are the only one in your location, kind
Yeah,
of finding other networking opportunities in your industry. I guess that's the key takeaway. Um, cool. All those amazing advices, Michelle. I think so tell me about so you seem really passionate about that topic, right? So
mhm.
are you starting to help maybe some others as well? What's if someone want to reach out or get a bit, I don't know, get some tips? Where can they contact you? And can you give us a bit of share a bit about you and your what you can help with?
My latest adventures.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I am very passionate about this topic.
yeah,
And when I became a manager, I realized so many things. And I and then I thought, I wish I knew this when I
yeah,
was younger or more junior, and this would have helped me so much to just advance my career. And I try to find that help, when I was in more junior positions, and I really struggled. It's
yeah,
hard. It's hard to find it, and it's even when you speak to someone in your company and your manager, it's hard to find that specific advice. And so I decided I'm going to do that for other people. So I am a tech career coach now, and
cool.
I specialize in helping technical professionals
Yeah,
realize what they are naturally good at, so that they can find a role that they love and they get paid for being them.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, that's
Amazing.
what I'm doing.
Amazing. So we'll share a few of those details with our community and audience as well. They'll be in the show notes in the description as well. So if anyone wants some advice or needs some help with their career, they know where to find you,
I can just
I
reach
guess.
out. The easiest place probably to go is on my LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Everything is linked. There's a link to my website, or just send me a message on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way to get hold of me.
yeah, perfect, cool. Amazing, Nisha. Anything else we want to discuss? Any other topics for now?
Oh, I can stay here for the whole day, Dani. There's so many.
Oh, okay. We might do another one, with
Yeah,
discussing other topics.
yeah.
That was very, very interesting, Michelle. Thank you for your time, and yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, and thank you so
I
much
think you can
for
help so many
having me.
people. I wish I had a coach in my earlier career that could guide me through the mistake I made.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Thank you, and yeah, let's keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. See
Bye.
you.
Next
Bye.
time. Bye.